Hello, punters. Welcome. Another episode. Big week. We've just gotten over Melbourne Cup. We're actually recording this on Oaks Day, and we're going to be talking about Champions Day. Sam Wood, Nick Lloyd, Blake Johnson, Matthew Zammit. Gentlemen, hello. How are we?
I'm going great, thank you.
That's good. Nick, how are you?
Yep, I'm surviving Cup week so far.
Nick, in the lead up to this show, was just telling us
Come on.
all the tales he's pulling today on Oaks Day for
He's
ticket
been
seats.
a bit of a sook. He's
a sook, surviving.
Pulling horses' tails.
Who survives this time? You thrive.
He's
You don't
upset
survive.
because he declared gold trip in the Melbourne Cup. He still hasn't got over it.
I found that reel from after Stradbroke Day too, where I tipped without a fight, and I said they'll probably not beat him in the Caulfield Cup and maybe even a Melbourne Cup. I had something on him. I won on the race.
You didn't find my reel, did you, mate? Sam doesn't want to do it. He refuses.
I'm pretty lazy.
What was your rule? What was your reel?
Well, I declared it the horse of the spring before its first up run. Sam's like, what are you talking about? What, it's going to win everything? And we said, yeah.
Win everything.
Win
That's
everything.
right. I think that's what I said.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll
it wins
find it. We'll have a highlight reel.
Please.
Wow, what a huge Cup day. And Blake, I said this to you Tuesday morning because we had the conversation about earlier in the last month. We're talking about Everest and Melbourne Cup and where they stack up. And Nick and I were like kind of, I suppose, caught up in the excitement of Everest Day and, saying it's kind of on par. And you stuck fat. You said it nothing compares to Melbourne Cup. And Tuesday rolled around, but even Sunday night rolled around, Monday, then Tuesday. You're right.
I stuck strong. It's the best day of the year.
Yep.
There's just an excitement in the air. It's just that potential. It's like when you walk into the casino and there's infinite potential because you could walk out of the casino a millionaire.
He's right.
I was so close too.
I've never not walked into the casino thinking that.
I always, 100%. When I walk onto that casino floor, I'm like, tonight's the night.
Get the dogs.
Tonight is the night. Get those chips ready. But it was a good result. Getting without a fight.
Yeah, well done, mate. Well done,
too
Zammit.
good.
Well done, boys.
Yeah, well done, boys. My wife was like, we've been together like 8 years, and she always bags me and says, oh, you can't find the Melbourne Cup winner. You never, don't worry about Blake's tips. Rah, rah, rah. But I've actually, we went through it.
Here we go.
I was like, okay, so we've been together 8 years. And in those 8 years, I've found 2 Melbourne Cup winners.
At what price?
Our Mandan paid $11 or so.
Oh.
And without a fight's paid $9. So I said to her, your family and your friends, they're hard markers.
They're 12 years in front.
They might not, I was
100%.
going to say, they might not have got their staking right, though. You might have declared something.
Yeah, they could have.
Imagine
Maybe
Blake
they
trying to
got caught
explain
up.
to the in-laws, if you had level staked.
Oh, he would every Christmas. Guys, sit down. I want to tell you about the strategy and how it works.
Maybe it was just early days. I tipped them our Mandan and they thought, this bloke's a
This
freak.
is what I expect every year, and then they go off you. But no, members very happy. Gold trip. What happened, mate?
He pulled up lame, so
I saw that.
yeah.
this morning.
I think
I can't hear you, Sammy.
I was
can't
right
you,
about
mate?
him. I said it wasn't the same setup.
no,
It wasn't the same
you
setup.
were right, James. I think James got it wrong. To be honest, I think he was too close. I thought that good barrier, he wouldn't have to do any work, and he was a lot closer than what I was expecting. So,
Hang on. You would have been happy in the run.
Yes, come on, don't lie.
Yes, you
Yeah.
would have, Nick.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, I was happy in the run, but then when you go back through it and you look at where the first 5 or 6 have come from in the run, you look from where he came from in that Turnbull Stakes win when he bolted in. So
I could accept that if he was beaten 5 lengths, something like that.
Oh yeah, he didn't show up.
He was
Straight
he
down
was
the
in
barrel.
reverse.
James, you got your counting wrong.
Yeah, James. Gee whiz.
1 Mickey Mouse, 2 Mickey Mouse, 3. You were going a bit fast.
He was, but no. Look, you can't take anything away from the winner. The people that are having us talk about Solcombe.
Well, let's discuss that because this was all talkback radio yesterday.
Yeah, well, it's funny. It's in the name, isn't it? Sulk. And
sulk.
that's exactly what they're doing. They're sulking because
So-
you back a horse that misses the start every time. Don't sook about it missing the start. And okay, sure, it got held up, and Joe Morero had the back of the eventual winner, but
It wasn't beating without a fight.
no.
No, Zammit.
No chance,
Back
mate.
me up here.
No chance. I pride myself on detaching myself from the betting outcome when you do an assessment, because there's nothing to gain out of running it through your mind as though you've had a bet again. That horse was never beating him. He, Without a Fight was easy down the last 50 to 100 metres, and it had stopped gaining any ground on Without a Fight late. And sort of attacking the ride is interesting. I mean, it didn't look good. It looked ugly. But he's got 23 horses he's trying to navigate on a horse that's missed the kick and sent him right back in the field. The big mistake he made was for whatever reason, not following Without a Fight through. So me and BJ are very, very strong on Without a Fight. If we're riding Salcombe, that's the only back we want because we see him as a great chance. And I think Ollie was critical for that reason on a radio station program I heard. He thought, if I'm following Without a Fight, I'm not letting it go. I'm not going looking for another run. I'm staying there. And that's the big mistake he made. And he found dead ends only when he went wide, but it wasn't to the degree that it's cost him the race. Not a chance in hell. Without a Fight, very dominant, fair winner of the race.
Yeah. The other thing too that I'll say too, in probably in Joe Moreira's defence was, and I think Ollie might have said that Mark on Without a Fight at one point might have sort of been riding him along a little bit to take that original spot. So maybe Joe thought Without a Fight wasn't going well enough. I'm not sure about that.
You could be
when
right.
I watched it looked like
you and Ollie could be right in the sense that I think Zara said that he does take a little bit of riding, but he does have an incredible turn of foot. The only reason I'm shaking my head, I'm watching the race live, turning to my sister who's thrown $10 win on it because I've given her the tip, and I said to her, "We're home. This race is over." Around the turn, you could not be watching that horse and thinking, this is not taking me into the race. You had to think, there is the winner, or there's the horse taking me into the race and giving me the chance to peel off at the 300 and begin the race. So
the other thing I was going to say, though, was that when he got off Mark's back, the first horse he went and got on the back of was Gold Trip, who had the back of Vauban. So you've got two of the more fancied runners. He's probably thinking, well, these are the horses to take me into the race, and they didn't take him anywhere. And then I think he might have gone the next horse he went to was 100 to 1 shot that was going to take him nowhere. And then he went back and he had the back of Military Mission who was taking him nowhere. So like, he had it right the first time on the back of the winner, and he probably thought he had it right the next time getting on the back of two of the favourites, but just didn't play out.
Sammy,
like
I heard you laughing at me saying the race is over on the turn.
You know what I was laughing at?
Was over. You know that I only cheer when they're home outside of Private Eye on Saturday.
So we were all at the races on Saturday. BJ and I were down there for the sporting news. We hooked up with Zamet and Pat and Zamet's lovely family.
Don't forget the mug.
You had a runner in the last, which we'll get to. So we're down there for Golden Eagle Day, and we had Private Eye in the strategy. You were very bullish on Private Eye as well, Zamet. And I chose not to film this race because we're doing an Instagram takeover, part of the deal with Sporting News. And when Mr. Brightside was, I would say...
Mr. Brightside? Private Eye.
Private Eye was what, say... I don't want to throw you under the bus, but let's say 50 out. You were that literal quote, get in the queue, because you actually turned,
and went to the queue,
started clapping to go hop in the queue, and then Bella Nipotina zipped up and just snatched victory out of the claws of defeat. So it was.
And there I was slumped in the chair, and I had Paddy.
Was one of the greatest.
Paddy was
like
filthy.
You weren't as bad as him. I'll say that. You were clapping and cheering and things like that, and high fiving the people around you. And but I've never seen two of the worst early crows. They're up there.
No. He won that race.
They're in the annals of history, those two.
Hey, did he? What about the data on the race? He's fastest last 600, fastest everything, and he gets beat. I don't know. The sectionals were really interesting. You read them and you just can't imagine you're reading the sectionals of a horse that doesn't win the race.
What actually happened? Did he just switch off? Did Nash just think he had the race won, or has Bella really just jumped out of that?
Bella jumped out of the ground.
Nash didn't drop his hands. You would have thought that he dropped his hands, but he didn't.
If you watch the drone footage is great. She goes for the run, she misses it. He dashes, and that's the break that convinces us all he's won the race. But as soon as she gets the gap again, she charges through it. Absolutely savages the line.
I still can't believe she won.
Neither.
still can't believe she won.
That overhead footage where she's taking that gap between Think About It and Coal Crusher, like that was a ballsy ride from Craig, and like even for the horse to take the gap.
Even at the beginning, what a ride!
Accelerate.
He gets her across and leads for a moment before then just allowing something to come across.
That.
He's just a genius. That guy, he can ride.
I don't think anybody expected that.
No, not often you see horses in front get headed and then surge and win the race. Like once sort of they went past her, it's like, oh, well, she's gone. But no, kicked back.
Can I chime into the Solcombe argument?
Yes, of course. And then we'll move on to
left
going.
me out.
No, I Zamet came. Sorry,
You left me out.
Don't look at me, mate. This is Zamet's show, and we're just all here for it. Okay?
Quickly, there is no way that Solcombe would have beat him home because we can't bring in the missed start argument because he always misses the start. So that is a given. People saying that he was held up between the 6 and 150, 4, 150, whatever it was. But he should have had conserved energy. He should have had that built-up energy for that final furlong. And I'm looking at the last 200 metres now. Without a Fight was eased down in his run 12.08. Solcombe has run 11.89. So there's not much between them there over that final 200 metres. And given that Solcombe had that build-up energy between the 4 and the 150, he should have been taking more ground off the winner because he was eased down. So,
Agreed.
There's no way.
Agreed.
No way he would have
And
been.
I don't think it's the ride either, personally. That's what a lot of the chat is about.
Oh, that doesn't matter. That he would
Well,
have
it
run
does.
second anyway.
That's people's opinions. They're thinking that the ride cost him.
He would have run second.
Yeah. I tell you what was a cracking ride was Bo Mertens on Shiraz. That was just second best ride of the race outside of the winner. Like
I didn't watch it. I
didn't
haven't
watch it?
Reviewed the
race.
I didn't watch it. No.
The reviewed.
I
He
didn't.
just
I've
watched.
only
He
watched some-
was
I've only
only
watched
watching
one,
Without a
two
Fight.
I only watched 1, 2 so far.
yeah, he's
How
riding.
did you feel when I started to cheer for Mark? Had you seen what he was?
No,
Did
actually,
I alert you to the fact that Without a Fight was going well?
yes, because
Yeah, and me, yeah. 'cause
I was watching Gold Trip, and I was sort of thinking, he's not really going well enough. And then you kind of went with a "Go on, Mark," and I like looked back and I was like, "Holy fuck, how has he got there like that easily?" And
It was
and, like,
Glenn
I was
Boss.
still happy with it. Whereas
Glenn Boss, Mackay Diva 2005.
Mackay,
That's what
yeah.
it was. It was a phenomenal ride.
it was,
That's it.
I was still happy where Absurd was. I'm like, okay, we're up here, we're good. And then you started chiming in. I'm thinking, oh, we're in strife.
And that video that
Oh,
we took of us watching it, like
I haven't
Without a
seen
Fight
that.
was like my third or fourth best result on the race. So like I was more than happy to see him kick clear, but then I wasn't cheering because I was like, I don't have Solcombe, I don't have Shiraz. So then I'm like going back and looking for interpretation.
Something flashing
home into the top.
You
top
can see
10.
Nick.
I look
Nick's
for interpretation.
I'm doing these.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We're a
Is
bit
that in the
stiff,
Can you
Zam.
see that in the video? Him counting them. That's good.
Yeah, because I backed interpretation, the win. I backed him the place. I backed him top 5, and I backed him top 10. So I won on my bets around him because he paid $5.50 top
Nice.
10, $5.50
Good
top
find.
10, $12 top 5, and he's got edged out.
He's
Run 6.
beat him point
Good
three.
find.
Yeah.
Good find. I thought True
Yeah, nice.
True
He's
Marvel
done
ran out of his skin.
$41.
Was he 250
Happy
to
with
1,
it,
despised
200.
outsider, and he was in the mix
Yeah.
for fifth until very late. A few of the classier ones just nailed him in the last 50 metres, and I think he ran 8th. That was a good run.
Yep, $6 for top 10.
I actually think that going forward, like looking at Melbourne Cup trifectas and stuff, I'm probably going to go like class for first and second, and then you just want every horse that's going to stay 3,200 metres in for third
Yeah.
and fourth.
Yeah.
Like I just think those sort of horses, they feel the placing so often at big
They
odds.
do.
Well,
They
like
do.
look at it literally. Like what was it? We had Shiraz, who we haven't seen his best form for a while, but his best form is 2 mile. Ash Run, out and out stayers, run 4th. Deshaun Sweet Jr., he's an Adelaide Cup winner. He's run 6th in the race previously. He's run 5th. Interpretation, out and out 2 milers, run 6th. And then you've got like True Marvel, Vow and Declare, Military Mission, like those horses that are just going to stay all day are the ones that have filled that 10 to 3 spot.
Yeah, and
So-
they
The speed and tempo in the race, is that just a wipe? Like, what do we have? All placings came from the back third of the field. Like,
Yeah.
Sam might be able
really,
to answer that. I haven't looked at it yet, but it seemed very strong.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't done the benchmarking reviewers yet either, but yeah, it was clearly a strong speed. It's rated extremely well as a race, the winner. Right up there with, I think from at least a time form perspective, they've got him rating alongside, Very Elegant's win. So he's rated very strongly, and it's given.
And I think that meant that only Protectionist and Maccabi Diva, I think the only to, was it Maccabi Diva or no, Diva?
No, it would have been, I'd say Maccabi Diva. Yeah, it would have been. Yep.
Yeah. Her and Protectionist, the only two cup winners in the last 20 or 30 years to run a better number than what he did. So
he's a very good horse.
What a horse.
And it's given a lot of credit to that form, hasn't it? That Caulfield Cup form, Turnbull form. We'll get to that later in this potty in terms of the Champion Stakes.
One thing I will say is don't start chiming into Solcombe for next year because we found out with bloody Francesco Gardi that even though you've got a horse one spring, you might not have him the next spring.
Yeah, you can't even chime in the winter, can you? I mean, the favourites for the Cup in the winter were White Marlin and Goldman.
Correct.
Who were all hype, and I bought into the Goldman hype, and I don't think that was necessarily unfounded because look at Solcombe, he beat Solcombe in a lead up race. But like to your point, BJ, sometimes they just don't show up again when they come back for the spring.
Yeah. One thing I said to my mates as well after it, I said a bit of a Melbourne Cup musing. You go back only 5 years in terms of these internationals coming out here and having their first run off the plane in the Melbourne Cup. That used to be an automatic pen job for me. Yeah. We had Rekindling in 2017 do it. It was the first horse in 23 years
since
or something
Vintage
to
Crop.
win as an international since Vintage Crop. And then Cross Counter did it the following year, and we sort of went, oh, okay, maybe this is no longer a trend. And then Twilight Payment, he had run in the Cup the previous year, but didn't have a lead-up run the following year in 2020 when he won. But then the last 2 years, we've had Dover, Legend, and Vauban, both very short favourites, a long way out, both having their first Australian starts, and the bubbles popped.
And what about, I think, of all internationals to race here, the favourite of the internationals has never won. If an international's won, it has not been the favourite. So it's funny. BJ, I'd love your take, and the rest of you for that matter as well. When I know people like Gator will read, David Gatley will read a fair bit into things like that. Like my logical brain says to me, I can't cop just because in the past international favourites haven't won. That means whoever is the international favourite next year in 2024, they won't win the Cup. Like my mind just doesn't work that way. It's a different horse, right? Different field, different everything.
Yeah.
But some people will say, no, that's a serious element of the profile there that you have to buy into. And what it means is we as a market cannot pick the right international to win the race. I'm interested. What do you guys think? Do you think there's something in that? Or?
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything in that. It means that we've found the wrong horse.
It doesn't mean we always do. We just can't work out which is the right international back, and we should be wary of the next international favourite. Does that mean something to you, or it doesn't?
I think we should be wary of all international horses, and we should judge them based on their merit. So each is an individual, and just because it's the favourite doesn't mean that we put it on top. If you like an international, back it accordingly if it's the right price.
I mean, I lost count of the people who came up before the race saying Vauban is nearly unbeatable. He's too good for them. He's been weighted well, set up perfectly all year. There were that many people, overseas and local, ready to say he was just about unbeatable.
Then you had the other end of the spectrum too, though. You had a few of the international form experts. At one point, they're saying, "Oh, it's an embarrassment to the Melbourne Cup if Vauban wins your race." He's a hurdler.
Well, I see it's reinforced that for me. I've never, for a long time, thought you just don't want to go anywhere near internationals who have been over the hurdles. They're the wrong profile of horse. We need the faster stayers over there with a turn of foot. The 2,000 to 2,400 metre horses who, if anything, people are questioning whether they will get 2 miles. I'd rather be on that international than one that, is 32 and even a 4,000 metre type horse. Those sorts have just never really worked here.
Before we before we do move on and look ahead to this weekend, but very quickly, if Vauban hadn't have bolted in at Royal Ascot by 7.5 lengths, say even if he still romped in a similar race, but it was at York or it was at the Curragh, not Royal Ascot, where we've got a lot of Australian eyes on the carnival itself. Does he firm? I think he was like $51 into about $10 that night when he won, and then from there on it was just an avalanche of money. Even though he had one more start, but it wasn't as convincing. Like, did we sort of put too much weight into that dominant Royal Ascot win?
I don't think so. I think like the market sorts itself out late. So if he did get in too short, then the market would have spat him out late, which it was against him late. He was 330. Like I don't know what markets went up on Saturday night. I think they went up 330.
was high fives by SP, I think.
Yeah, and there were some bookies out there sitting at $6, so they were happy to lay him late. So the market sorted itself out. He was never going to start.
No, $3.
Like I said, he was going to start with a 5 or 6 in front of him. So
what was the shortest he got to? 460?
No, 320, 330.
Saturday, open 330.
Saturday night.
After price
Without
declaring.
a Fight would start favourite. I was shocked by the price that he started, like $9. I couldn't believe it.
It is shocking.
It is. He was.
They do not win
I
a
still
Caulfield
can't
Cup like
understand
that.
it really.
With how fast he won that race and start $8-9. It's just unheard of.
And like it was, he wasn't set up to win the Caulfield Cup like he did, because he came through that really slow race. They decided not to run him in the Turnbull, and they went straight to the Caulfield Cup, which was a brutally run race, and he lapped it up. He was always going to run 3,200 metres. A great bet.
He was always going to improve.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? Because you go, like exactly what you said, and you boys found him. And for someone like Sam, myself, any of the other listeners that weren't on him, the amount of horses that we've sort of seen over the years, and you say, oh, it's hard to do the Cups double. We haven't done it for 22 years or whatever it was. But how many of those horses that won the Caulfield Cup and then tried to win the Melbourne Cup were winning that Caulfield Cup, fourth up and then going into a Melbourne Cup fifth up? Like, this horse was second up in a Caulfield Cup, only third up in a Melbourne Cup, and he bolted in. Like, it's always going to be the
Freedman's
top
deserves
form,
some credit. Hey, if that was Mar Eustace, there'd be article after article of declaring them geniuses for that effort, for that training effort to pick out those 3 races and execute the way they did. Phenomenal training performance.
Yeah, definitely. And before we move on from the Melbourne Cup, what about those gibberers at the age?
What?
You ever pulled up lame
3
after
horses.
a bit of sport, Sammy? You ever needed a bit of an ice
Mate, I've got to be honest with you. I've just started back at the gym, and I'm pulling up lame every fucking morning.
We're not about to put you down, though, are we?
No. Well, I've got to ask Elise that one. But yeah, no, I don't think so.
I wrote on Twitter that their reporting was similar to...
Just explain it to the listeners that missed it.
The article headline was 3 horses pull up lame from Melbourne Cup or something like that. And I compared that to like reporting after a marathon saying 3 marathon runners pull up with muscle soreness after the race. So like...
It's just headline grabbing. There wasn't enough nup to the cup. They didn't get a death. They didn't get anything like that. So they can't play with it. They're forgetting Oaks Day. They're forgetting that.
I look forward to them being out of business in the next 10
Same
years.
here, mate. Same here.
Prince not dead, guys. Listen, we will get to Golden Eagle Day. We might leave that to the end because the listeners want to hear. We don't need to do another. One more thing before we move on from the Cup. But let's move on to the final day of the Melbourne Cup Carnival. Flemington this week. We have Champions Day, which is 3 fat Group 1s kicking off in race 6, 1,200 metres. It is the Champions Sprint. We got some great horses running around this weekend. We see Mr. Brightside. We see Alligator Blood, obviously the world's greatest horse. And we see Imperatrice in this race coming up as a $2 fave with Dabble at the moment. In Secret is $4.60. Asfura and Bella Nipotina on that $10, $11 mark. And then they continue on. Zaman, I'll start with you. I'm looking at you in this little camera here. What are you liking in the Champion Sprint?
She's a bit easy, the champ. At $2.
Yeah.
Thought that was interesting. Maybe that's her right price. I'm not sure. I haven't had a good look at good go at pricing the race just yet. I can't go past 2. I'm focused in this race on horses with enough reserved energy for a relatively peak performance there or thereabouts for this race, rather than it being an afterthought beyond an Everest. I think we've seen a bit of that hangover of late. Cylinder was one, Shinzo another, and they're more than that. Private Eye and Think About It, both failing to win their next runs in the Giga Kick. I think this is a race that is going to require something who has had some level of attention on this race as part of the prep, and Imperatrice fits that bill. This was part of that campaign. She stays in Melbourne the whole time. She's not had interruptions in transport. She should be ready to explode again as the sort of crowning glory of this preparation for her. And I think she'll be winning. There is that element of unknown or up the straight, and In Secret definitely brings a really strong ratings profile up the straight with her Coolmore and Newmarket wins, and no doubt will be a tough horse to beat. But I think Imperatrice for me is the clear best horse in the race, clear best setup for the race. I would say though, if you're not keen on getting amongst those odds and you're not on at some better odds with an all-in ticket, I do think this is Asfora's big chance to prove that she can run some form of a strong 1,200 metres. Probably not the best place in the world to do that up the straight, the Flemington Straight 6, if you're going to try and get away with it. But I think she's an incredibly good place chance. Her odds all in were $4.60, which had to be taken, and I think she's still now $2.60 or something like that. I'd much rather be on her place than In Secret place, that's for sure.
Yeah, Asfora definitely putting together a nice little prep there. What about you, Nick? What are we going for here with Imperatrice? Is this 5 in a row?
This will be 5 in a row.
Yeah. Can she do it? Can she not?
No, I don't think she will. I'm very keen In Secret. Sort of, I know what you said, Sam, and that's sort of like I'm on a ticket. I've had Tom Kidden all up In Secret at about 20 to 1. So I'm sitting on a nice ticket going into In Secret, and I'll probably save on Imperatrice now that she is getting out to that even money quote. But you look at what In Secret's done in the past when she's got to the straight, and you mentioned sort of afterthoughts and going 2 grand finals in a row. She ran in a Golden Rose this time last year, and then you could say that was 1 grand final, and then she came to the straight at Flemington in the Coolmore, and she absolutely blew them away. She blew them away then in the Newmarket in the autumn. I just think she's an elite straight tracker. She's had a month between runs, a tick over barrier trial in between, and James McDonald goes on, and he's never missed a top 2 finish with her. She could very well not be good enough for Imperatrice, and Imperatrice could find another gear down the straight. But when you've got the Kiwi mare going there first time, and you've got a horse that has won 2 of the biggest sprints in Australia down the straight, I'm more than happy to be with the Godolphin mare here to go 3 from 3 down the straight 6.
In Secret is $4.60. Double's price is very good in this race. Beej, any thoughts on this one?
It's a good race. I thought Imperatrice would have started favourite and won the Everest, so I can't go past her here. I think In Secret was outstanding, and she was probably the horse that you could argue should have won the Everest.
Yeah, she drew a gate, she wins.
Yeah, I think she wins the Everest if she
Private Eye might have as well if he drew a gate.
Yeah. But yeah, she was outstanding in the Everest. But I think the only thing against Imperatrice is she's unknown down the straight, but I don't think that's going to worry her.
I don't think that's going to be a concern either.
She ain't no squib.
Mm-mm.
No, it's actually a really
right.
good point, because if anything, what it does is it tests a little bit of stamina at the end of the race, and or it finds out a horse that gets away with its races around a bend because of tactical speed, things like that, and she fits neither of those categories as a horse. She's a mile Group 1 winner, I think, isn't she? At least a winner over a mile, if not a mile Group 1 winner. So can't imagine she's soft late.
Imperatrice goes into the multi.
Place
win.
Play?
Place Imperatrice. People come here for their place multis, okay? Stop bagging me. People
win
go,
$2. I'm happy with that.
Let's do it.
We'll take it. We're okay.
What's next? What are we moving on to next?
Champions Mile.
What a race.
I'm excited about this.
This is a phenomenal race. Fangirl is currently the 270 favourite.
Unbeatable.
Mr. Brightside, $3. Alligator Blood, $3.50. Pride of Jenny is on the next line of betting out to $14. I'd say this is a 3-horse race. Happy to be told differently. You guys are already chiming in saying it's a 1-horse race. Fangirl, Mr. B, Alligator Blood, Zamet, tell me. Who are we backing? Who goes into the place multi?
I think Zam. Just a guess. I think that he's going to side with Mr. Brightside.
I would think he's been a big Mr. B fan, like for a lot.
This is why BJ gets paid the big bucks, and this is why he's very, very good. He can read humans, not just horses. He's spot on. He's
like
poker.
that.
That's why I'm such a great.
He
poker
picked you in the yard.
He's read me like a book. He's read me like a book from another state. I'm scared. I was hoping he'd go first. I wanted to hear what he had to say about Fangirl. He's jumped in. He's very keen. And no surprises insofar as she's going to be incredibly hard to beat. I just can't come into her at those odds. That's a big overcompensation there for the bad luck story in the Cox Plate and the big spike and win in the King Charles. Back to a mile, she's probably going to be particularly well suited, but she meets arguably the best miler in the country here, and Mr. Brightside, who was phenomenal in the Cox Plate. Got a beautiful run through, but best last 200 of any horse in that race. Very unlucky to get beat. Back to a mile holds no fears. He's fantastic around Flemington. You're getting a price. You probably would never have foreseen this price a couple of starts ago for this horse in this race. Yeah. But that was the impact of Fangirl's run 2 starts ago on everybody and on the market, as well as what was one of many hard luck stories in the Cox Plate. So I'm not getting too carried away, especially with her typically negative racing pattern, to be charging in at those odds. I can't do it. Mr. Brightside for me.
Yeah, $3. Amazing that it's not the fave in this race, I think, to be really honest with you.
Now, let me read BJ. You're going to tip Fangirl.
Yeah, okay.
I'm definitely going to tip
wow.
Fangirl. I'm definitely going to tip Fangirl.
He's good.
It's a good race, but I think it sets up perfectly for her. There's going to be plenty of speed. Pride of Jenny, we saw what she did last week. Brutal tempo. I think that's absolutely perfect for Fangirl.
Hang on. Talk to me. Is it?
Yeah. So it's a small field. All right. So I'm not going to worry about the draw for Fangirl. She's not going to go back to last. It's not a start of the prep run. It's not one of those Chris Waller, I'll drag you back to last and we'll let you run on for a later race. This is grand final day. So expect James to give her a dig out of the gates. There will be gaps between the fields. He's going to find one off. He can potentially, I don't think he's going to be last. I think he's going to probably be in front of a pair. We're going to see Alligator Blood probably drop in behind Pride of Jenny. She was backed as if she was I'm not going to say unbeatable, but she was heavily supported in that Cox Plate with a wide draw against and for a potentially really fast run Cox Plate. Off the back of that slow tempo race at Randwick where she showed a good turn of foot and she beat Mr. Brightside. Given the fact that she received that market support from the wide draw in the Cox Plate where she was always going to be last, first attempt over 2,000 metres in a strongly run race, which was a complete excuse run, I think we can take that market support with confidence. Coming back to a mile, a distance that she's run in the past, getting a good tempo here, which was the potential for the setup prior to that market support in the Cox Plate, we can take that market support with confidence and back her accordingly here. I actually think Mr. Brightside will start third favourite here. I think
Alligator Blood.
She'll start favourite. I think Alligator Blood will start second favourite, and I think he'll start third favourite.
The only reason I say talk to me about that, BJ, is to the 800 in the King Charles, she's gone 9 lengths under class benchmark. 9 lengths and come home 400 to the finish, 5 lengths above. That wasn't a brutal tempo by any stretch. I was just interested that you think that a strong tempo set by Pride of Jenny is necessarily something that's going to suit her. I thought it was potentially a query. I feel like it's when she can get a nice run and take up a decent position through a low barrier with a softer speed, her turn of foot really comes to the fore.
Yeah, no doubt. I think the tempo of this race helps her from the draw.
To give it so she doesn't need to go back to last. No, that's fair enough. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Strap yourself in.
Oh, here we go.
Banker's choice.
Please
Let's
tell
read
me.
him. Banker's choice.
No, alligator blood.
Here comes the blood.
I knew it. How good's that? Oh, wow. I don't know if I've ever... Have you tipped alligator blood before?
Oh, maybe not in the last 700 days.
This is exciting, punters. This is
I love
exciting.
that. Big heart pounding.
Tell me. Talk to me. Come on.
Well, he won this.
My big heart pounding now.
He won this race last year after coming out of the Cox Plate.
Yeah.
Wasn't as strong a field. I think he had to beat Tuvalu last year. So Mr. Brightside and Fangirl definitely better horses than what he beat 12 months ago. But I just come back to sort of the way that this race could be run and look at that run where he won over the 2,000 metres where he had Just Fine go forward. So I think Pride of Jenny is going to be that horse that makes it a genuinely run tempo. And he's just going to have the drop on her. And if the field stretches out, I think that is a negative for Fangirl. And I think that's a negative for Mr. Brightside, depending on how far back he gets. So I think Alligator Blood's the horse with the first shot at them. We've seen how good Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott have been this spring with their horses just getting them rock hard fit. Not even this spring, just forever. But especially I feel like we've noticed it more lately that these rock hard fit horses deep into their preparations up on speed are just super hard to get past. And then you throw in the tenacity that Alligator Blood does have. I think he's really, really hard to beat here.
I agree with Nick on this one, guys.
The other thing I will say too is when he won the Underwood, you had Vow and Declare run second, and you had Jewess run third, and he put a space on them. And then Jewess arguably should have won the Cox Plate. I think anyway. Like
you can't make that argument because he was in the Cox Plate.
That's right.
Yeah, but
and Vow Declare's done nothing since.
We're tying in form.
But I think Alligator Blood is better suited back to the mile.
Maybe Alligator Blood had every conceivable in the Cox Plate, every conceivable, and I thought,
and he was right there, and he beat all bar Mr. Brightside.
Yeah, I thought Mr. Brightside was a better run. I think Mr. Brightside is just as suited back to a mile, and I think Fangirl was arguably a better run behind. But I can't knock you.
I actually understand what you're saying now.
Because
you don't think he's suited at 2,000 metres, so that's where you're making that comparison.
Yes.
Got that.
But your comparison was over a 2,000 metre race.
It was, yeah. But I'm with him.
We're making it hard for Sam.
You can't shit on me for tipping the horse for the first time.
It's not hard for me.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is so easy.
Nick's played his cards very well today. Very well today.
I still didn't even get in secret.
Alligator place. No, I don't even know what there's no third dividend in this race, would there be?
Max unbeaten on Fangirl as well.
4, 5, 6.
Yeah, he is unbeaten on Fangirl.
I'm not having Fangirl. I think I'm heading kind of coming from the same direction as you, Zamet, with Fangirl. Mm-hmm. I think Mr. Brightside is the one to beat, but Alligator Blood, there's a chance here that this doesn't set up well especially if Pride of Jenny goes out there and just goes full throttle. The Blood might be the only thing that can kind of stay up, might stretch them out a little bit, and they've got too much work to do late.
Yeah. That was a massive go on Fangirl in the Cox Plate.
Was it that big? Massive
go.
But everyone thought
it was 11 into 6. She was 11 into 650.
Was she 11 into 650?
Like that.
Yeah, I knew she was around the 6 mark.
It was a massive go, considering 2,000 metres for the first time. Strong tempo.
I just think it was off the back of that rating.
And the draw.
Yeah. The draw is why I penned her. I've got no idea why people charged into her when she drew that way. Anyone I spoke to, I said, I cannot back her until I see the barrier. Saw the barrier and said, she's done. Race is over. So I was surprised.
Yeah, I couldn't see that. I couldn't see that market support.
One thing I'll say, BJ, that girl announced herself this track and distance, didn't she? She exploded onto the scene in the Carbine Club. 1,600 metres Flemington. Yeah. So her one visit there was phenomenal. She blew them away.
Was that off Reginald Allen win or something like that?
Goulburn Maiden, Reginald Allen.
Yeah, Carbine so Club. She's going to love getting back there, you'd think.
I'm excited. So it's a great race.
It is a great race. But we're looking at alligator blood.
And here's Baker's choice.
No way.
It was a bit like that last year.
This one will be here.
Because Private Eye started very
that's
very
right. He
well
was-
back favourite in this race last year.
This was the year last year where it was Private Eye, Nature Strip, and
Was that off
Enema
Giga
were
Kick
the
Stakes?
favourites.
Was that off Nature Strip Stakes? I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. That's when they said, let's just treat him as a sprinter from now on, basically.
See what happens. Okay, beautiful. Blood's locked in. Champion Stakes, 2,000 metres. West Wind Blows is $2.75 with the Dabble. Zaki $5, Prowess $6, Joya $6.50, a tissue $7.50. Next line of betting, it does drop out a little bit here into Buckaroo at 19s. Montefilia at $23. I honestly, looking at this race last night, I'm lost. I put my hand up and say I'm lost. So I need direction. Usually I just dive.
I'm your
into
shepherd.
something. You can't
I'm your
just-
shepherd, Sam.
Please,
Take him over,
Please,
Sam.
take me.
Give me your
Herd
hand.
Herd me.
Can I have a guess?
Herd me.
It's pretty straightforward,
Is it
isn't
at the top?
No, he's with West Wind Blows.
BJ, you need to double your salary, mate. We need to double your salary. He's
He's
too
good.
good, this guy. He's
He's
too good. Give me a hand, Sam. Give me a hand.
Yeah, I'm open.
How can if BJ does not side with West Wind Blows here? I mean, we might as well delete this whole dialogue about the Melbourne Cup. There is no better form.
I'll delete the pod.
There is
It's
no
okay,
better
I can do it now.
form
I've
this
got a button
spring.
here. I just
No
scuffed.
better form this spring than that Turnbull Caulfield Cup. West Wind Blows. I'm fairly certain, Nick. You'll know. You're the oracle, mate. Were people not questioning West Wind Blows at 2,400 metres in the Caulfield Cup? They were saying he's a 2,000 metre horse and he's a 2,400 metre query. Am I inventing that, or was that a narrative? It was, wasn't it?
There was a little bit of that going around,
Yeah.
I think, yeah. And then when he ran after the Caulfield Cup, that's when people were saying he could have run in the Melbourne Cup.
I would have definitely backed him in the Melbourne Cup. I would have backed him.
Yeah, I guess the reason I'm raising that is because I'm now hearing people try to convince me that he's going to be a little bit one pace and a bit flat coming back to 2,000 metres. And I go back through his form. The horse has superior 2,000 metre form. Fantastic 2,000 metre form. He's had a little bit of a freshen in terms of, I think it's 3 weeks between runs. Back to 2,000 metres. His run in the Turnbull was just absolutely enormous, to the degree I had him on my side in my Caulfield Cup book as strong as I did without a fight, who I was very, very keen on as well. His run in the Turnbull was phenomenal, brutal tempo, out wide, making multiple runs. He produces anything like that back to the 2,000 metres here again at Flemington. And he's just about unbeatable in this race. He is a serious class above them. It's the right form. He's rock hard fit. I can't go past him. He is as good a thing on that Flemington card as you will find.
Yeah, I'm with you, Sam. Not much more to really add. Jamie Spencer's probably the biggest negative, to be completely honest, but he's ridden this horse.
You're a Jamie Spencer hater.
Oh, well, how can you? I don't think he's ever
He's on the
ridden
show
anywhere
next
in
week,
Australia,
isn't he?
and he's even.
He's here.
Here he comes. Jamie.
Come on out.
No, we wanted to surprise. We wanted to leave the surprise
Jerry
to the
Springer.
end, but yeah, he's here. Comes out.
But he's ridden this horse 6 times for 6 minor placings. He's never won on him either.
He's due.
But maybe he's due. Maybe it'll just keep happening. But I think he's ridden this horse very well in its 2 Australian starts. So there's no reason to suggest that he can't get the job done here. And I just said myself, Jewess, I thought she should have won the Cox Plate with the run she's had, but she's here, and then you can just tie all that form in. I think can't you here now at the 2,000 with Jewess through that Cox Plate, beaten by Romantic Warrior, and this horse gave Romantic Warrior windburn in the Turnbull. So, I'm very happy to be with the favourite
All right,
here.
let me read BJ. Prowess.
All aboard.
See, this is why I don't get paid.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So, I mean, you need to talk before the show. Get in the green
He's on
room.
West Wind
Nah,
Blows.
all aboard.
Very
Yeah,
good.
he'll win.
Fucking easy.
Simple as that.
Yeah, very easy here. Well, you know what this means.
Place.
We can lock in a winner. Play. No, we can lock in
Winner's
wins
multi.
for all the multis.
Very good.
Wow.
For all legs of the multis. Imperatrice win at $2. I'm going to have this bet right now too, so we get that $2. Alligator Blood at $3.50 and West Wind Blows at $2.75. Stick
Nice.
your rocket on that. How are you? Were your rockets good to you on Golden Eagle Day, Salmon? I can't remember. I saw you rocketing away.
I think I jumped on no rockets. I think I jumped on something at futures odds anyway that you guys were onto. So it gave it a that was it.
That was only
Yeah.
last.
That was it.
Yeah, running now, running
Exactly.
today.
She won't win, but we've got a ticket.
Thank you.
Well, she'll give a good
Does
side.
this go to air before the Oaks?
We'll try.
Probably not.
The
We
audio
might not
probably
be able
did
to
up.
listen to all 45
I know,
minutes
hey.
before the Oaks,
Yep.
but we'll,
How long were you?
we'll
I
try.
wouldn't think so, but
You'd be quick on it. The mug will listen to it before the Oaks, I'd say.
just the team, Gay and Adrian, out in front, 2,500 metres, going to be hard to get past. We'll get a cheer.
I'm not on. I won't be cheering her.
Oh,
but good luck to you.
Get a cheer.
I heard Adrian Bott on the radio, and he was very keen on
Declared
Amazon.
it.
Yep.
Over Tropical Squall?
Over
You
Tropical
preferred
Squall.
Amazon?
Yeah, he was just seemed
Shame.
more in that
It's
camp.
a shame neither of them are going to win.
Yeah, I think Maddie
'Cause
Smith's
Nick's sitting
Oaks
on-
is my best guide for punters would be Maddie Smith's Ethelflade.
Right. Well, we're not going to preview the Oaks because we won't be going to air before that.
Well, like I said, I saw you rocketing away, and we were all over the place on Saturday. We got down to, I can't remember what time we landed. Pat came in hot to the airport, Zam, and I don't know this, but as we're walking out of the airport, we're there with 100 people coming out of the plane at the same time. Pat started carving through the crowd with a footy, throwing dummies. Japanese bloke nearly
A
fell
fake
over.
footy, or he actually had a
thinking
footy in
Pat
his
was
hand?
gonna throw. No, he
Yeah,
had a footy
okay.
and everything. He was stepping them and he was finding gaps. And then from that point on, we were on, weren't we? We got out there to Rose Hill.
You recorded that, didn't you?
I think I did.
You should post it.
We should do we'll do a vlog. We've got enough footage to do a proper trip vlog, but geez, we had some fun. It was the day was just topped off at the end when we got to sit next to Matthew Zammit and the crew, the whole family, as Way to the Stars crossed back at Wild West, Rose Hill, your track growing up, your home track, having a winner in the last fave. Getting home, how was that, mate? I know how special that was, but explain to the listeners what that was.
Yeah,
like.
it's you can't describe it. If I imagine, even if you're not obsessed with horses and racing like we are, it's just a feeling that is hard to match. But when you live and breathe it like we all do, and then you get to have an ownership experience, it's great. And then if you get one that wins a race anywhere, it's as good as anything. You get one that wins on a Saturday at Rose Hill, which my spiritual home, I call it. Grew up there and worked there. I've been there so many times.
That's where you and Pat met.
It is, yeah. We worked together there for a long time. Yep. It was just a bucket list, genuine bucket list. People might go, what? Winning a Saturday race at Rose Hills on your bucket list? It genuinely is. That's one thing that I've always wanted to do before I kick it, is to say I won a Saturday race at Rose Hill. So the thrill, the personal satisfaction, the pride in the horse, just tick, tick, tick. So good. And then top it all off, though, you boys were there. I mean, it all just worked out so well. High-fiving, hugging, all of it. It was just great fun. Great stuff.
I tell you what, it was fantastic, and it was great seeing that for you. It was great, seeing it for your family as well. And
When did you know it was over? It was over a long way.
Well,
From
you
home.
know,
Wasn't
I mean,
you didn't early crow. I was watching you too. I think I've got footage of you. I'll put all that into the vlog as well. But you were,
I guess the bit of
going
nervousness takes over. And, you don't want to be the one cheering home your horse, and then old mate next to you who's got the other horse starts right in your face, ripping into you as he passes you the last 50 meters. No one wants that. So I tend to wait a bit. But it was over at the 200 though, wasn't it? I don't know what you guys thought. It just dashed clear. and
definitely.
It was.
Nothing was getting near him. So that was enjoyable because you get to start the high fives before he's even crossed the line. And we loved it. Absolutely loved it. But no, I tend to get pretty nervous. I don't get nervous for many things, but when our horses go around, that last few minutes, I don't know what I was like, but it's hard to talk to me. I'm pretty zoned in.
You were pretty nervous most of the day.
Fair enough.
To be honest. Yep. And then I think I don't know, maybe after even before the Golden Eagle, it was starting to ramp up. Like it would have been, and you were obviously having bets in Golden Eagle. Like it was still a lot of the day to go before the last.
I told that many people
it
it'll win.
phenomenal.
That's the other thing. You feel a bit of that pressure. Even right up until the end, I'm getting text messages. He's drifting. What do you think? And I'm writing back, just back him. And they're, oh, love the confidence. Love it. So just the amount of people that would have been having a bet and the rest of the country. I mean, the last race fave, race 10, how much of a thing is that?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to back that last winner.
Get out
exactly.
stakes.
And they find him just because he's the favourite, if not because they find him as the best chance. And he carried everyone's hopes and he did it.
So what you're saying is Zemet for PM?
No, mate. I'm saying Way to the Stars for PM. He did it all. I just watched.
I was screaming that as I was just sucking down champagne in the winners' room because when Way to the Stars crossed the line and we Blake and I were down there for work, obviously, with sporting news and things like that, but that's when our little talons came out. We just grabbed whatever coattail we could from that on, and we got dragged on into the winners' room. And
guests of honour, boys. Guests of honour.
Some photos.
You had a ticket.
Champagne.
You had a ticket. You didn't sneak in.
Yeah. So it was good, and then that continued because then we went out and we saw Malcolm, and Malcolm bought us a couple of drinks, and then we went out for dinner with surprisingly Hildo and Björn and Rachel flew back from Melbourne that night. Hildo wanted to catch up with us. Hildo definitely. Hildo organises everything, which can you imagine that for a stable? Hildo's like
scary, isn't it? It's scary.
It is amazing. But Hildo wanted to catch up with us, so he threw Björn and Rachel on a plane as well, and they came out and had dinner with us, and we were drinking from the Coolmore. I've got the
Coolmore Cup.
A hat that they get or something. We don't have the cup. That would have been nice.
That would have been
I don't think it would have been too hard for us to pocket it either. Like I think it was just left on the table at the end. No, it wasn't. It was so yes, it was a great weekend. But yeah, it was definitely a absolute
He's a
highlight,
character, Björn, isn't he? I saw a few clips of him even at the presentation. Grabs the trophy and he goes, never thought I'd be saying this. And he just starts yelling out, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Did you see when he got the cup as well? Like it was small.
What is this?
Like
under five soccer training.
Yeah, he was very funny. He was great. And it's funny because he has a new love for Blake. He's always known us and played basketball against you and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think he did a function with Mal. And from there, he just loves Mal and loves you.
That.
Besties. He would sit next to Blake and it was but yeah, it was a great night and we were very, very happy to all the people that was involved in a great weekend.
It was a great day.
Especially Sporting News getting us down there.
The funny thing about Björn, just with that Aussie that you mentioned there, Zam, that was in the winners' room after the race, and then he was on Radio Tab on Sunday morning. He did the same thing. He was then on...
He did a dinner, just a heads up. He did a dinner in the restaurant. Yeah.
He was on the wrap on racing.com on Sunday morning. He did it again there before he signed off. And then he was on a show called That's Racing on Monday night on racing.com.
Just making sure he gets all audiences.
He signed off with, I never thought I'd say this, but Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
What about
So he's done it 4 or 5 times.
What was it? Was it the racing.com show where he called James Cumming Little Jimmy?
Yes.
So what he said.
Yeah.
What was the line? I've got to find it, but he's like, he goes,
it was something about the hat, and I look forward to seeing what hat he wears tomorrow morning at Warwick Farm.
Yeah, little Jimmy, he was calling us.
Jeez, his mate Hildo likes that hat.
He's definitely. Oh yeah, the bloke from Jurassic Park, Dr. Hammond. Yeah, Doctor. All right, I'll read out this multi, and then we'll sign off. So we've got Imperatrice the win at race 6, Alligator Blood the win at race 7, and West Wind Blows the win race 8. So thank you, Zamet. Thank you, BJ.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, boys.
Have a great weekend and good luck this weekend,
luck,
punters. And if you are going to have a dabble, do so responsibly.